OKC fell out of the top 4.
Unfortunate.
And
is it?
I'm rooting for OKC.
This NBA draft was about the top 5 prospects: Cade, Jalen Green, Suggs, Kuminga, and Mobley. OKC Thunder fans were hoping at a chance to get one of these guys at least, and it turns out they're going to get the 6th overall pick, which is just outside of that top 5. Right now they have Scottie Barnes being mocked to OKC, and this just goes to show you that tanking doesn't work in the NBA anymore. You can be a horrible team, but
I think they fixed the odds now.
Yeah, the 3 teams with the worst record have the same odds at the number 1 pick.
It's 14%.
Wow.
So tanking, I think, has been proven not to be that effective. OKC fell out of that top 5, and a lot of Thunder fans were not only contemplating getting Cade or a top 3 pick, they were contemplating getting
Rockets,
Houston's pick and then having 2 of these top 5 prospects, and now that's not going to happen. So at the 6th overall pick, I personally don't think they can trade up. I don't. Detroit is not trading down. They're drafting
They're
Cade.
locked in.
You look at Houston, they need a franchise.
Let me ask you a question. Does Kemba in the 6th pick work for Toronto?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I think that would probably be the only one.
I don't think Kemba has value right now. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. You look at Houston, they need a franchise-changing player, and that's going to be there at 3. You look at Cleveland, maybe. Like, that's a possibility, but if Green is there or Mobley.
Cleveland's at
3. Especially if Cleveland can get Mobley, I don't think they trade out of that pick because they need a center back. Even though they have Jared Allen, I don't see all-star in Jared Allen. I see really solid player. I see star in Mobley.
Yeah.
Then you look at Toronto. Does Toronto want to drop down to 6 and then draft a Kuminga or Scottie Barnes? They already have forwards, so I think Suggs makes perfect sense.
Which means 5.
And at 5, you're basically drafting the same player, Kuminga or Scottie Barnes. And even then, I don't know if Orlando moves out of that pick because they have the 8th overall pick. Exactly. So why would you move out of 5th to draft Barnes instead of Kuminga unless they want Barnes, they're not sold on Kuminga, and they let OKC trade up.
They think Barnes is going 5.
Yeah, and that's the only scenario I think. But OKC will right now, Scottie Barnes is being mocked to them, and I like the move. You know, I don't think this is the worst thing in the world because I think Kuminga is more of a project than Scottie Barnes, and Scottie Barnes right now does more things better than Kuminga. He's a better defender. He's a better passer. Kuminga's a better rebounder and a better scorer, you could say, but Scottie Barnes is not a bad scorer, and what I like about him is that he picks his spots. He knows when to score. He knows where he's effective, where Kuminga in the G League shot 38% from the field. Scottie Barnes shot 50% from the field in college, so I think right now Scottie Barnes is more refined, and I don't think this is the worst thing in the world for OKC. I think the future is still really bright, and if they have a combination of Lou Dort and Scottie Barnes
as
being their defensive stoppers, that would be an elite defensive duo.
No doubt.
I think Scottie got to be the pick here. You know, I think
even over Kuminga.
Damn,
I don't know if Kuminga would be there, but
I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
I'm saying Scottie goes 5, and then Kuminga. I think either or would be fine for OKC. Consider that they need a 3 or a 4.
Okay.
So I think Scottie, like he says, Scottie's advanced now, and I think that is because of Leonard Hamilton and him playing for Montverde.
Yep.
So I think he is advanced right now. His defense is really great. He's a great playmaker. His offense, his shooting is not where it needs to be, but he can always work on that. But I think Scottie is good for that type of system. OKC, you know, playing the 4, and like I think we could go Basley at the 5 or him playing the 3. But I think, you know, Scottie has to be the pick because he's the best guy right there for them right now, and they need a guy like that, a versatile guy that can defend, you know, keep the trend. He's a young guy. Even if Kuminga, you can get Kuminga, another young guy who has a lot of potential. You know, you pick up somebody else and go through your OKC development staff and hopefully get him better. But I think I don't think they're going to look anywhere else but Scottie or Kuminga here. I think those guys have to go here to OKC.
I feel like I would lean Scottie just because I feel like they're so focused, or this team right now is really heavy offensively, and I feel like bringing a guy like Scottie would bring a strong defensive presence, especially with Lou Dortz. Now, I feel like them missing out on the top 5, it's really not too bad, especially with Kuminga and Scottie being so close. And if you're looking towards the future, they have a plethora of picks that this really doesn't hurt them. Would it have been amazing to get 2 top 5 picks? Of course. But obviously, that would have been a perfect world scenario. And they have 18 picks over the next 4 or 5 years. I'm not too sure which of the two, but I know that they have 18 first, 18 second-round picks. And this roster is definitely headed towards the right direction. They go and they pick up Kemba. They go and they have Shea. They have a potential of getting another wing to pair with Dortz. I'm a little bit concerned with their bigs. Help me out.
They have
European dude.
Isaiah Roby.
Talk about Poku.
Correct.
I think he's like a forward, though. I don't think he can be
They
a
actually
big.
have him as a small forward.
Yeah, I don't think he can be a center. He's just too skinny.
And I just feel like right in this part of the draft, I'm not in love with any bigs, and that's why I would lean Scottie. That's why it also hurts that they didn't break into the top 5 because obviously, again, Mobley would have been huge.
In this type of NBA, Scottie can be that. Scottie and Basley can be your bigs. You know,
and he has size. This dude's 225, 6'7". I think his unofficial was 6'9".
He has long arms.
Yeah.
You know, this type of NBA, you can be okay with that. And Poku's a 3.
When you talk about Scottie Barnes versus Kuminga's physical traits, Scottie Barnes has more.
True.
He's the same height as Kuminga. He is stronger than him as well. It's just when you watch Kuminga play, you see what you saw from Cam Reddish in college. A guy who looks fluid, who looks the part, but is very inconsistent. Cam Reddish has not figured it out in the NBA thus far. And that's what you see in Kuminga. But when we're talking about who's more refined right now, who has the physical traits, it is Scottie Barnes. So maybe OKC lucked into Scottie Barnes because they may have taken a project player in Kuminga and were probably going to be unable to develop him. When Scottie Barnes, I think, is going to come right away and hit the ground running. You look at former Florida State players like we mentioned earlier, Terrence Mann. I didn't even mention Patrick Williams earlier, but he's really good. Devin Vassell, Jonathan Isaac. This is a really good program, and they have a track record of developing really good forwards. So Scottie Barnes, I have no doubt he can be a really good pro.
And it's not like anyone's expecting anything of OKC next season too. So they can take their time with this rebuild. They obviously have put themselves in a position where they have such a plethora of picks that they're trying to build. Obviously, you're never going to come across a Durant, Harden, and Russell probably ever again in their lives, but you can build a team that could still be a contender, especially with the amount of picks they have. So it's not the end of the world that they're not breaking into the top 5.
And they have the 16th overall pick too. If they want a big man, they could go Kai Jones. Mm-hmm. That would be a good guy. Isaiah Jackson, also out of Kentucky. Jeremiah Robinson Earl in this modern NBA could be
you said 16?
A small 5. Yeah, they have the 16th
So
pick.
would it be the craziest thing if we saw 6 and you said 16 packaged together to see if they could try and move up? If they really wanted to go get Evan Mobley,
I think they'll have to throw in more things.
So let's say Green goes 2.
Right.
Cleveland has Jared Allen. Do you think that they would be willing to go from 3 to 6?
That would be the only chance that they have. Cleveland, with them having Jared Allen, if Mobley is there, then they can pay maybe sub, because I think Mobley would be great for OKC.
I think so too.
So I think
Cleveland also, they need defense. So
definitely.
With that 6th pick, they can draft Kuminga or Barnes and help their defense out a lot.
Because I think Kevin Love is probably gone this year, so Barnes will be okay. I think they'll be okay with Barnes. So maybe Cleveland, you could probably package
that'd be a
something.
nice core. You get Sexton, Garland, you
Barnes,
bring in
Okoro.
Correct.
Allen, that wouldn't be bad.
I don't hate
I
it.
actually like that five.
Right, and you get the 16th pick overall if you're Cleveland too. Maybe you hit on one of those, even though
nice thinking.
Hey,
nice
yeah, and I think Evan Mobley would be the best fit for OKC because
definitely
Jalen Suggs, I think, will take away from Shea a little bit.
And that's the last thing you need.
Jalen Green as well because, he's a scoring guard. Cade Cunningham, of course, he's the dream scenario, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, everybody.
I mean, come on.
And then, outside of that, it's really Kuminga. And do you really want to take – you don't really want to take that chance unless you have to.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley, he fills in the need, and he's possibly the second best prospect in terms of potential in this draft. Because Jalen Green, I think he could be the best offensive player or scorer in the draft. But Mobley can be the best defender in this draft and can be a top 4 offensive player in the draft as well.
So you think Mobley could be the best all-around player, or do you think that's Cade?
I'm talking about, Cade, yes, but I think Mobley could be a 20 and 10 guy that gives you elite defense on a given night. So that's something, Jalen Green's scorers come easy. You know Jalen
Yep.
Green's going to be an elite scorer.
Yep.
But a guy who gives you 20 and 10, can switch on pick and rolls, can guard the perimeter and guard down low, can hit, the mid-range and the three. Those are rare guys
Definitely.
in the NBA. So, you would want to take a chance on that.
No, I'm with you for sure.